And good evening, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of You Get What You Get. I'm Ricky Hampton with my great friends, McDougal and Tim Turner, coming to you on a Tuesday evening. Hope everybody's warm, snuggled, and cuddly as we are in the midst of a cold snap that's still kicking butt across the country. Good evening, guys. It's always a pleasure to see you.
I agree. Good to see you guys.
Yes, indeed. It has been quite a few couple of days here in the old Southeast, having to deal with the ice and snow. But we're slowly digging out. The folks in Tennessee, I think, still lead the nation in power outages. So, number one, Tennessee.
Yeah. My daughter didn't have to go to work for 2 days, so I don't think she was feeling too bad about that.
You say it's coming this way, Tim, next upcoming
Nashville.
weekend?
The next system is people in the Carolina coast and people in even Savannah. And I think they probably didn't have the first time it snowed in Savannah last year was the first time in 15, 20 years. And since you came down there, Tree, you give them back-to-back years. So there's a common denominator.
What can I say? I'm a snow bunny, evidently.
Oh, here we go.
It's rough out there, y'all. So just be careful if you do have to go out in it and take care of yourself. We do have a lot to get into tonight. And just before we came on the air, I was reading the news. I guess the story broke a little earlier this evening that about an hour or so ago that former Patriots coach Bill Belichick will not be a first-time Hall of Fame inductee. This was his first year to go in, and almost everybody had him as a sure thing. The guy won 8 Super Bowls, 6 as a head coach, 2 as assistant, 333 wins, second all-time, 31 playoff wins, most all-time. 3-time coach of the year, and he's gonna have to wait a while. And the response, I want to get you guys' response, but the response across the league and across the world of sports has been one of utter shock.
Yeah, especially the people in New England who thought it was just a shoe-in, and it should have been actually. Really, it is. And I don't. There's a myriad of people could say there are things that could have been. They say Spygate was one, but it's sports writers who are in this room, and they have people who are in there, and the sports writers are advocating for the nominees, and whoever gave the impassioned plea for Belichick could not overcome the number of times he said, "We're on to Cincinnati, we're on to the New York Jets." He's hurt. Next question. Get out of the way, idiot. He never said that. But you can't be jerks to the writers and them to think they're gonna have a short memory behind that. So it might be punishment, maybe year 2.
Yeah. Is that how they do it? That's how they punish people, by that? That's punishment.
Yeah, it's petty.
It is.
It is very petty. But some of our colleagues in the business of sports writing can be very petty. You see it in Major League Baseball, and
right.
But Tim, not so much in the NFL. I don't think until this one. This is egregious. But to your point, let me just play some Bill Belichick.
When that's required, we'll put it on.
When is that process completed, finished?
When's what process finished?
The concussion report,
This is, of course, Bill Belichick and his dealings with the media throughout his career.
Whatever his situation is, whatever his status is, we'll put it on the injury report. We'll make sure the first one to get it.
I'm sure you will. Do you expect him to play?
Not a problem.
Do you expect him to play?
We'll put it right on the injury report, and that's what we're going to do.
Okay.
Just like everybody else does. I'll make sure you're first on the list too, Stacey.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I don't want to hold anything back here. Get that out there right away.
I know you don't.
That's all we can do.
So I'm curious why the team decided to put out a statement last night about Rob in conjunction.
Just to try to do everything we can to help you out.
Were you in?
Sorry if you're offended by that. Just trying to be cooperative.
I can't play more this. I can't play more this.
There's just no need for that. No need for that. And the Weisenheimer aspect of it, doing everything we can to help you guys out, which is probably, polar opposite. I remember one game where a Patriots player was injured on the field and it was near, I think, the opposing team's sideline, and the opposing team's trainers came out to try to help administer aid. And I think I was thinking that he pushed the guy away. Like, the one, I guess he didn't want to check the severity of the injury of the guy. And this dude is just reflexively trying to help and assist a player. And, but, every edge you could get, I take it. But you've seen him, if you ever saw the Manning cast, and he would be on there for a couple of weeks. He's great. He's a great guy away from being on the sidelines. Absolutely great. He never showed any of that personality when he was a coach.
But I guarantee you, and they do not. The voting is not publicly, but if it was, those who admitted him, I almost assure you would be sports writers, and I think it's petty. I think it's wrong because he is a first ballot Hall of Famer. But I do get it because these guys got a job to do. When you're out there covering a game, you need to gather all the information you can. And he is the head man, and he is making your life difficult. And he's doing it on purpose.
I mean,
So,
you're on deadline. And this, we're talking about going back years. Now, it's not so much deadline, it's 24 hours is the deadline. But before, we have to get a story in by, 10 o'clock, and he's hemming and hawing and giving you nothing. You got to get to other parts of the locker room. That makes your job that much more difficult. You can't just rely on the pool quotes that they pass around, the sheet that they do. You want to do something that's a little bit different, and he doesn't give you that. But at the same time, this dude won 8 Super Bowls, 6 as a head coach, 2 as an assistant with the Giants. He has 8 rings.
Yeah.
And people, said that's not good enough. And I want to see who else, because I think at the NFL Honors Awards next week, they're going to name this year's class. And I would bet there's not a single person who makes the Hall this year that has 8 Super Bowl rings.
No.
So is it the head football coach's job to make your job easier, or are you just saying he's just being super difficult? You said he's doing everything. Tim, I think you said, somebody said that he's doing everything to make your job not easy.
That's a very insightful question, Trey. It's not his job to make the reporter's job easy. However, it's his job as the leader of the team, of the spokesperson. He's the main spokesperson of the team, other than the owner, and the owner. It's his job to answer the questions. When something goes on, it's his job to answer those questions and be somewhat forthright. Nobody wants to know all the plays to the game. He always talked about you're going to send the plays to Kansas. Nobody's asking for that. They want general information about the team, and he was hardly ever forthcoming.
So that's by design, then, right? Is it?
Yeah, it was by design.
Yeah.
And see, the difficult thing, the hard part is they won 6 Super Bowls. And I keep coming back to that because that means they won most of their games, which means somebody should be in a good mood most of the time for those seasons.
Yeah, but that's just his personality. Has anybody talked? I mean, how is he off? I mean, I'm always trying to look at
good mood. I'm sorry, Trey. He said you guys sleep in a good mood.
He's not in a good mood ever. But maybe it's a lot of stress. I don't know, but you said he was on the Manning cast. Yeah,
that was the opposite of the main broadcast on Monday nights, and the guy was great. I mean, he was pretty much all X's and O's, except when he played the Falcons, where he just eviscerated everything about the Falcons. And the reason for that is he interviewed for the job here and didn't get it. And he was really making sure people let you know you made a mistake because of this, X, Y, Z, what you have out there on the field now, and he would have made it better. But when I was in college, I was a stringer, which means I did stories for the paper back home. And on Sunday, the Falcons game, my job to do the visiting team locker room and get quotes. And the Falcons are really good in the early 80s, which means I went to always very surly locker rooms. And those locker rooms all the time felt like what those Belichick press conferences are. Getting cussed at for asking questions, short answers, snippy answers, non-answers, get away from me answers. And that's pretty much what he gave. And they won consistently for a lot of time, for a very long time. They won. And that's what you got out of a guy who was winning.
He was in a good mood, man.
Yeah.
That was his happy face.
Yeah.
So we'll find out. We'll find out next weekend. The class.
Yeah, on February 5th is when the NFL Honors Awards ceremony. They're going to introduce the class of this year's class of the Hall of Fame.
Can't wait.
Yeah, it was somebody that said, if he's not a Hall of Famer, who is a Hall of Famer?
Right. Name all the Hall of Fame coaches that are in
this.
this.
Not a Hall of Famer. Who is a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Right. And I'd like to see who the first ballot people are. I always bring it back to baseball. I mean, come on, Hank Aaron. Hank Aaron was not a unanimous pick for the Hall of Fame. The first and only unanimous pick is, of course, somebody from New York, Mariano Rivera, a relief pitcher, was the first. It has been the first person unanimously picked for the Hall of Fame, which is just unconscionable to me.
How can you not pick Hank Aaron?
To think of all the people who went before that, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, folks like that, Mickey Mantle. Nobody until Mark Rivera was a unanimous pick. And sports writers always had their reasons. Dick Allen, people in Philly hated him because he spoke his mind. He got inducted posthumously. Okay, Dave Parker the same way. They waited till these cats were dead before they put him in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
So I mean, it's
not gonna give you the joy of experiencing this on your own.
And for what it's worth, with everybody being in bed with these Draft King and all these other sports bet deals, Pete Rose should have been in there before he died.
Yeah.
He got in trouble for gambling on, that kind of deal. But what people are doing it now, nakedly.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, too bad, Bill. You got screwed over, but you screwed over a lot of folks trying to do their jobs too. So,
you make it seem like it's justified.
It's not. It's not.
Man, journalists are tough.
He should have been there. I just don't feel bad for him.
Right. But yeah, from the outside looking in, because there are people, I've seen it all on online tonight, that they're just torn up about it and thought that it was unjust, but they never had to catch that wrath, So, and it shouldn't be that way, but that's the way it goes.
Because I think too, a lot of people, well, he's just being snippy. Yeah, these people are trying to do a job. That's their profession, and he was totally disrespectful to the profession. And like any profession, there are guys that do it at a higher level than some, and have more respectability about the way they go about their work than others. But he
essentially treated everybody like they were hacks. They didn't know what they were doing, and that was just a naked disrespect.
So who's done a good job at working with reporters? Who do you think on the opposite end of that? Who's do you see is doing a great job?
Oh, covered a lot of
everybody else.
Okay. All right. Asked and answered. Okay.
No, but you'll see these coaches talking like you see, even in losses, you'll see Sean McVay who knew he screwed up on Sunday
He
by
did.
not kicking the field goal. The guy was a stand-up guy and took the blame, took the heat. He did it. Sean Payton, a guy who I can't stand, as the coach of the Broncos, he stood up and took the blame for not taking the field goal when he had
He
the
screwed
chance.
up. Yeah.
I mean, it was his deal, and it wasn't so much. I mean, granted, the kid threw an interception; it hurt, but it was, they had the points right there waiting for him to take it. And then, he knew the weather forecast. It went from brilliant blue skies to a end of the game with a snowstorm. And yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say keep going, Tim, because let's get to those games last week.
But those guys stood there and took the heat and did, right there in really difficult circumstances. When you lose a game of that magnitude, it's really easy for you to be surly and to be mean and to be jerky. But I have yet to see anybody who lost any games during the postseason to behave unseemly. Everybody, was stand-up people and took responsibility, or credited the other team or whatever. To the point, Josh Allen, if anybody had an opportunity to cower away and shy away, the guy had 4 turnovers in the game against Denver the week before, 2 interceptions and 2 fumbles. And he was literally in tears saying he let his team down. He could have easily gone away and hidden, but he didn't. So it's like, you have a choice, to be responsible and to go out there and do those things, because everybody has a job to do. And he respects the job that the media does. And so you have to respect what he does as well.
So just so I'm clear, win or lose, Belichick was always the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was consistent. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing.
That's his MO then.
You want consistency, but not like that. Yes, you do. You want somebody to be sometimes.
That's how he rolls, as you would say in the old country.
Yes, for sure.
That's how he rolls.
Yeah, but those games. Go ahead, Rick.
No, I was going to get to the games, and I thought you had a good point with Sean Payton, because they had a chance to go up 10-0 in that. Let's see if I can get some highlights up from that game. They had a chance to go up 2 scores in that game, and they decided
it's a second 9.
They were up 7-0, and I think this is the drive where they go forward.
Right.
And instead of kicking the field goal to go up 2 scores, I get, this is just my little philosophy.
Well, you are in Detroit. You are in Detroit.
But Dan Campbell started all this. People in Denver ought to be getting on Dan Campbell. But if you got a chance to go up 2 scores, man, hey, go to kick that field goal.
Right.
I know. I've seen that a lot. Maybe.
And that was the play that cost them, Tree.
Right there, that cost them. You're right, Tree. This year has been an inordinate year where everybody we don't care where we are on the field. We're going for it on 4th down.
Yeah.
We're going to show our team we
take
have
the points. Take the points, right?
Take the point.
If they can.
And you're playing with a backup quarterback, and your defense is playing great. Now you got to make this young fella have to score 2 times to beat you.
Right. Man. And you see, what is this? This is the first quarter that you've gone up 10-0. See the field conditions? They're perfect.
Right.
The kicker would have had because I think he ended up missing 2 field goals late because he couldn't get proper footing. So,
and then you see how we got a commercial, and then you see how quickly it deteriorates.
Yeah, there we go. It's the 4th quarter, and
he missed.
That's a New England miss. They missed like both back-to-back field goals.
Tim, I think I texted you on this. Everybody's ripping on the place kickers, man. I'm like, hey.
No. Give the kicker some love. They had some harsh conditions.
I'm telling you. We got a blizzard going on out here.
Right? You got one job to do.
Can't see them in those white uniforms. This orange ones stand out. We can see them.
Should have taken advantage of that and just laid down on the field in the end zone with the white uniform and just going downfield. But look at that. See?
No, go ahead, Tim.
No, I'm just saying I'm looking at how New England almost blends into the snow.
Yeah.
It's a hard time to get those guys down. But
You
so,
put somebody
I mean,
all
this
the
was
way
the
out there.
final.
Put somebody all the way on the sideline, Tim, and just have them run.
Exactly.
To the end zone.
You can't see them.
Wow.
They're
It's
not
worse.
film.
Worse. They had the
Yeah.
chances. Yeah. So, but you have to give the Patriots their due. I mean, this is his first year, Mike Vrabel as head coach, and he turns the program around. They gave everybody was tripping about cutting loose Jared Mayo, the brother they had in there last year. But Robert Kraft, the owner, had a great response. He said, I didn't fire Jared Mayo. I hired Mike Vrabel. You know, he saw an opportunity to improve. Vrabel sitting out there, you know, without a job, and they said, you know, let's go get him. And what kills me and what hurts is, like, you know, Patriots and the Broncos playing, and all I thought about, the first thing I thought of was those are the two teams that clowned my Falcons in their 2 Super Bowl bids. So it was
You don't want
one.
either one of them to win.
That's right. And then both Super Bowl coaches, the guy in Seattle, Johnson, and Vrabel, both interviewed with the Falcons, and the Falcons thought they could do better. So there's that. Gives you an idea of what kind of organization that was here when you have two guys there just ready to pick. And it makes the Titans look really crazy too. That Vrabel got away from Tennessee, and you can see, obviously, it wasn't him. Is why they weren't winning. So,
Hey, wait, you know what? Going back to Belichick for a minute, were you disappointed the Falcons didn't hire him?
I wasn't, because I thought he was going. I was thinking about the media, which is, again, back to this Hall of Fame vote. I was thinking about, man, they're not going to get anything out of this cat. I was thinking about D-Led more so than anything else. He's the main dude, you know. And any press conference I hear the person behind the mic chuckle when Matt Ryan was introduced as the general manager. D-Led raises his hand and Ryan goes, "Yeah, I've been waiting for these questions." You know, that kind of thing. So, because he's known him, he knew him for his entire career. So I was thinking more so about the heat that he gets. Plus, he also started a controversy 2 weeks ago, D'Orlando Ledbetter, tweeting about Stefanski having a bad quarterback in Cleveland, and Baker Mayfield took exception to that, and he really started reaming Stefanski is a really bad, you know, he had nothing really good to say about him, saying they didn't even speak to him, that kind of thing, when he was let go. But Stefanski today was introduced to the Atlanta media, and he took the high road, saying he had a lot of respect for Baker Mayfield. But it is not a two-way street by all the stuff that was been happening this past week. Mayfield's looking forward to those 2 times against Atlanta this year.
Well, I don't know. Stefanski had a Pro Bowl quarterback last year, man. Last season.
Well, yeah, he had a Pro Bowl quarterback. Yeah, who played the final 8 games while they tried out 2 other bad people up there. So, and Stefanski, he coached the Pro Bowl quarterback in Kirk Cousins, who was still on the Falcons roster. And he was 2-time coach of the year. But, you know, people in Atlanta are feeling some kind of way because of what he did to Shador. And that's just a thing. And it's only partially the folks. I know my son said that he's going to boycott Falcons games if Stefanski was hired. And so he was hired, and now he says the boycott is on. Granted, he has not bought ticket 1 to a Falcon game. So how can you boycott something you've never been to, you've never gone to, or never purchased a ticket for? So
I was gonna go, but now I'm not gonna go.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. I thought about it.
But, you know, and I do want to get back to we'll get back to the Rams game. But you mentioned Shador Sanders, who was named, believe it or not, to the AFC Pro Bowl as an alternate, and I honestly don't know how that could have happened. I think Shador did fine. He showed definitely some toughness and moxie, but he was a rookie quarterback. He threw 7 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, had some very ugly games. For them to put him in the Pro Bowl, I think just shows what a Pro Bowl is now.
It shows
How
too
does-
also that this highlight is against the Las Vegas Raiders initially. A bad team. Okay, you got the 49ers here now. Let's see what he does. Oh,
So how does
not
one
too
get
bad.
to the Pro Bowl? So that, you say, how does he get put there? Who puts them there?
Players vote, actually.
Oh,
Yeah, I think it's a third players, a third fan.
Yeah. And the third coaches.
Yeah, maybe coaches. Yeah. And then you go to alternates. Like there are some guys picked ahead of him, Tree, but you got some guys that are hurt. And
Yeah.
quite frankly, you got some guys that don't even want to play in the game anymore.
Well, you got Herbert that was injured. The Chargers quarterback is injured. Allen is injured. He hurt himself in the last game. And the third quarterback, May, well, he's going to be playing in the Super Bowl.
He's going to
So they
I got time for that.
No, exactly. So
I got time for the Pro Bowl.
So then you got, but I'm thinking about the kid in Jacksonville. I don't know who the AFC quarterbacks are.
The quarterback, that's what I thought about.
Yeah. Somebody who played an entire season.
Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville.
Yeah. And I think Stroud might have been injured too. So a lot of people are begging off saying they were injured.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the game is just it's just itself.
I can't even remember the last time I watched it because it's just a joke. It feels like the NBA All-Star game as well. These things where they just really don't care and they try to find ways to jazz it up. Baseball really is the only last pure one. In the NHL, I don't think they do it the same way. In hockey, but baseball is All-Star game still has that feel to it, even though interleague play is taking some of the shine off of it, because it used to be the only time you saw the other guys was in the All-Star game in the World Series. So
yeah, man, it was a really big deal. Back then. But,
back in the day, in my day.
Yeah, back in the day. I think that's unfair to Shador.
I don't think it's unfair to him. I think that he should be kind of grateful for the opportunity, and this is an opportunity to help burnish his PR, because it seems like a lot of times when he speaks, he doesn't come off as a real team guy or someone who is there's an argument back and forth with my son and I about humility.
He's a Sanders, so.
Yeah.
I was going to say, is that what you're expecting? You know his daddy is, right?
Exactly.
I'm like, he grew up with that, and so he's probably been raised. I don't know anything about it. I'm not going to speculate about that, but I'm thinking that's the model. And so probably told him to be confident and, all that good stuff you tell a son, I suppose. But again, I don't have children.
People are always saying anywhere. It's like people don't like to have that kind of thing. They don't want to. A person of color doesn't. It's a grading thing as opposed to being something to be aspired to. Whereas other people can be as brash as they want to. People love Gronkowski. He's a larger than life personality. When they have those larger than life personalities, it's like, good old gunslinger Brett Favre or whatever it is. But the minute the brother comes out there and does something, it's schoolyard ball or that kind of stuff. They stick any kind of pejorative name on it or any kind of that behavior. So it's
cocky.
Cocky is the word. There you go. Instead of confident.
And then along comes Ali, who just takes that to a whole different level. I'm the greatest. I'm the prettiest.
Yeah.
I'm a bad man.
And he backed it up.
And he backed it up. Said ain't bragging if you back it up. But him getting selected to the Pro Bowl is sort of like these 5 and 6 teams going to playoff to bowl games.
Right.
Just saturated. I don't know.
Well, we went to that game, but we didn't do anything with the Seattle yet.
No, that's what I said. Yeah, I was going to go back to Seattle and
the Rams.
I think this was the Super Bowl game these are two outstanding teams here.
Yeah.
In Seattle. Always a difficult.
You know, you see Nakua having a big game, and then you have a Cooper Cup who's going to the Super Bowl without, you know, against his former team, and that had to be a little bit sweet for him.
Oh, absolutely.
His first year there with Seattle, and they're going to the Super Bowl. And the kid Kevin Walker, the running back they had in there, you know, he did really well because he's normally the secondary back, but their first string guy, Charbonneau, it was hurt.
But nobody is more happy that they won that game than Tariq Woolen.
Why is that?
Almost blew the whole thing with them with the unsportsmanlike play. Let's see if I can jump through that.
That wasn't very bright of him, but you know that was like his third one this season for taunting. And if he's been somebody who couldn't play, he'd be gone somewhere.
I'm just getting all these commercials jumping in on my feed tonight.
Oh, what those
Useful
lights?
tips.
This is
Useful tips.
This is. I think here's the play coming up.
The referee said, "Go, get away, get away, get away."
He's on the Rams sideline.
Yeah.
He goes over to the Rams sideline, talks stuff. The very next play,
he gets beat.
Touchdown.
For a touchdown. That is called the play they called in the huddle was God don't like ugly, and that's what happened. and there he is, 27.
Hey, Tim, God don't like ugly on two.
On two.
Oh my goodness. Boy, that Nakua, he's a heck of a player too, man.
He absolutely is. That guy is just incredible to see. That's when you have great scouting. Yeah, I think he was a 3rd round pick or something to that effect. Fifth round. Okay, you know, that's when you really are doing something. When you're drafting kids down that low and they come out to be just spectacular like Nakua has been since he's been drafted. And that throw was perfect.
Yeah, Matthew could sling that thing for sure.
Yeah.
But you know, McVay made some mistakes managing this game down the stretch.
Well, he had a bad game before that. He said, I called a bad game, which barely got him into this game, and he had another bad game this one.
But how about Sam Darnold?
That guy right there, that's
everybody considered him.
Everybody gave up on him.
Yeah, he was drafted in 2018. Everybody thought that this guy was a bust. He was drafted by the Jets. He bounced around. He was in Carolina for a while, for a year or two, sat on the bench in San Francisco, went to Minnesota last year, had an outstanding season, and Minnesota decided they didn't want to pay him. And now he's going to the Super Bowl.
Okay, so they said of the 5 first-round quarterbacks, he was one. He's the only one so far of that class of 2018 that made the Super Bowl. Also in that class, there was 5 first-round quarterbacks: Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, and this one guy, I forgot he was even drafted in the first round, who probably was one of the all-time great busts, Josh Rosen.
Josh Rosen, yeah.
Yeah. And I think the Cardinals picked him as a first-round pick, and that dude right there, he's just invisible. He never made it. I think he was even on the Falcons roster at one point as a backup. But all those other guys with all the talent, Lamar for all the MVPs that he has, and Josh Allen for all the MVPs that he has, and Mayfield for the reclamation job that he's done for his career. It is Darnold who's bounced around and has been vilified pretty much to make it to the Super Bowl. That's one of the great storylines that's going to come out of there.
And, but man, think about
no doubt.
Both these teams got there with brand new coaches.
Yeah, and that was the thing. It's again brand new coaches that were in the flowery branch. Yeah, that's what happened. You could turn it around because Seattle had a lull for winning, or just a brief lull, and they came back. New England had a lull for about 3 years. They brought in Vrabel, who changed the culture, changed everything about what was going on in New England. They got a great young quarterback, who, by the way, is the second youngest quarterback to play in the Super Bowl. They got him in there, and the guy has great talent. He's got some really decent players around him. Can you name the youngest quarterback to ever play in the Super Bowl?
Dan Marino.
Yes, sir. And Dan Marino did it his rookie year, and never saw a Super
Never
Bowl.
saw the light of day.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of coaches, Mike McCarthy was hired in Pittsburgh to take over the Steelers job.
What's
So
that
I'm
look, Tim?
Huh?
What was that look you went? "Ugh."
I was thinking about much to the dismay of all the Pittsburgh fans. Nobody but the Steelers front office thought this was a great pick. Nobody. Because it's not like, but when Tomlin was there for 20 years, McCarthy's already like, what, 60? He's not going to be there at 80. He's not going to be there for the long haul. And, how old is, Aaron Rodgers? What is he, 70? And he's, you got Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback, and you got to decide, is he going to come back or not? And they were together in Green Bay.
Man, that sounds like
What's that?
Yeah.
that sounds like ageism.
Well,
Sounds like ageism.
It is ageism, but this is not going to be where you're going to have these guys for a long period of time. And the Steelers have only had like four coaches, right?
Since '69, they had Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin, and now they're on 4 coaches since '69, right? Falcons have had 8 head coaches since Arthur Blank took over as owner, and that doesn't count the 50-year span of this team. So there's some folks who get it right, and there's some folks who don't. Steelers have always been well run. Packers have always been well run. 49ers have been well run, and then you got people like Atlanta and Cleveland, and they just run through this cycle of coaches and cycle of regimes. And it speaks well of these people that they're able to have this long-term success. Not great success because it didn't translate into Super Bowls like New England, but Tomlin never had a losing season. Right.
They still went out the door.
And I think now that McCarthy is there, they'll probably try to bring Rodgers back for one more year. And he didn't have a bad year: 24 touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
I'd be okay if he didn't come back.
I'm sorry.
Okay?
Yeah, I'd be okay. I'd be okay if he didn't come back.
I mean, he's serviceable.
He's kind of jerky, huh?
Say what?
You think he's kind of jerky, huh? Or just not the talent?
It's not my cup of tea.
Yeah. Well, there's a long line for that.
I'm sure they're going to be drafting a quarterback.
Yeah.
At some point, whether they bring. I tell you, guy that's out there, it's going to be a free agent, is Malik Willis, who, when he left Tennessee and went to Green Bay, man, they coached him up, man. And,
absolutely. I thought he was a bust over there in Tennessee because then again, too, whoever the quarterback was before, the first-string quarterback, they didn't have a good relationship. The guy was like, it's not my job to coach him up or to help him, play well. And, that kind of messed up stuff. But that happened in Green Bay as well, where Brett Favre did nothing to help Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. What was the guy, Will something in Tennessee?
Yeah, the guy was from Kentucky, I believe. Will Levis.
Will Levis.
Yeah, he was not. It wasn't like he's going to take him under his wing. If he's going to take him under his arm, it's going to be a headlock.
Well, you probably didn't want to listen to anything he had to say anyway, Trey. Because this dude threw the ball to the other team on a regular basis.
No, we don't need that.
he has some plays that he come to the sideline. His coach will look at him and like, what was that? That was you see that kind of stuff. And you see a guy come off the field and shrug. The guy's not saying good job.
I'm sure I've told you guys the old story. Junior high football coach put in a kid wide open for a pass, and it just goes right through his hands. He comes out of the game. Coach said, "Son, don't worry about it. It's not your fault. It's my fault for putting you in the game."
My bad.
No,
My bad.
not your bad, son. That's my fault.
I shouldn't have done it.
I should not have done it.
It's my fault for putting you in. Hey, the Bills decided not to hire Phillip Rivers, and I think they realized, wait a minute, if we hire this guy, we're gonna get run out of the league
Well,
for
I think
Because
foolery.
Because-
he has no coaching. His coaching experience was like at Hucklebuck High School somewhere in Alabama. So you know,
they don't need
that
him.
didn't translate well to the NFL. So that was the thing. But I understand Allen pushed hard for Diebold, and Diebold did not get the job. And I think he is now the OC for somebody as of today.
And they promoted
Got
Joe
hired
Brady.
as someone's. Yeah, promoted the offensive coordinator, which might salve some of the wounds. They didn't go outside the building, but people thought that Diebold would be the guy that would come back because he got his job with the Giants on the strength of what he did with Allen when he was in Buffalo as an assistant coach.
Yeah. I think we talked about this last week and mentioned it going into the game. This was the Bills' year, man. I totally get why they're making a change from McDermott. Bruh, you got a bad call there, whatever, but bruh, it's wide open for you, man.
Yeah.
Because when you look at Denver and New England had both teams had outstanding years, but there was nothing daunting about them. You know, they looked very beatable, both those teams.
Right.
And Buffalo was not able to take advantage. So
yeah, that hurt, but it seems to me how it was done. It was almost as if they were waiting for him to lose. That's what they said. Like, just slip up. If you don't go to the Super Bowl, I would venture if they made it to the AFC Championship game and they lost, he still would have gotten fired.
Yeah.
It wasn't because of the early exit. Just listening to some of the press conference they had with the GM, the owner next to him, and then the owner jumping in and speaking to try to take some of the heat off of the GM for some bad draft picks. They have not drafted well in Buffalo at all. They have not gotten Allen any help on the offense, and so and they were trying to put it the GM's feet, and the owner jumps in and tries to throws the coaching staff under the bus about this receiver they picked who was a bust, essentially, saying the coaches wanted this kid drafted. It wasn't the GM, and I've never seen that before. So
former Michigan State guy.
Yeah, it looked really it messed me up, and I was thinking about that. What kind of dude McDougal was to do that, to throw their old coaching staff under the bus for all the success that they had. And that's the thing about it. It's not like they stank it up every year. They were a competitive squad all year long.
Yeah,
and it hurts
Keon
to see
Coleman.
Yeah, he
Played
kept
at
trying.
Michigan State and then Florida State.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, Super Bowls are two. If you guys have a Super Bowl party, what time should I be there?
Tim, you got the wings?
I got the wings. It won't be no lemon. I wouldn't be lemon pepper because I think they put out a lemon pepper when they were salting the streets in Atlanta this past week.
Yeah. What y'all gonna do? What you gonna do?
So it's probably gonna be some Nashville hot wings type stuff. Yeah, that'll be the deal. I really don't have parties. The last time I had people over for the Super Bowl was the Patriots Falcons Super Bowl.
Oh my God.
And as the game went along, and I I became more and more animated. People began to leave the home. And they would just leave me left by my lonesome in overtime.
I had a taste of that 2 years ago when the Lions were up 27-13 at halftime. Everybody said, we're going to the Super Bowl. I think it was in Vegas somewhere.
Yeah.
And the great meme, I wanted them to go just so I could flash the meme. Detroit players at the Super Bowl in their minks.
Yes.
Say that again. Who had on minks? What?
All these brothers had these different colors, like Easter suits and mink coats.
Well, you got to understand, and I love Detroit. I've been here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Detroit. I got it. Say no more.
But everybody from Detroit, from Alabama and Mississippi, and in my case, Nashville. So,
and sometimes Georgia.
And we got the country roots up here. But yeah, that was a hard break. But you know what? In all seriousness, it is hard to win these games. Aaron Rodgers, tremendous quarterback. What did you won? One? Peyton Manning, two.
Eli Manning, two. So everybody. I'm trying to think of that. There are teams who have never been, and I'm trying to figure the ones who
have never been.
Lions have never been. I don't think this iteration of the Cleveland Browns, the Texans haven't been. Jacksonville hasn't been. It's about everybody else has.
It's another original NFL franchise hadn't been. But anyway, I know Detroit and Cleveland for sure.
I wasn't thinking about having a party. Wow.
Hey, we got some HBCU football news.
Yeah, there's some. FAMU is they're just jumping out the box with their first three games, and the games 2 and 3 are the ones that really kind of trouble me. I mean, granted, so the new coach, Coach Quinn, who came from Albany State, he opens the season against Albany State in Tallahassee. It's Quinn Gray is his name, Quinn Gray Sr. So his former team, they open the season with them in Tallahassee. Then they come back the second game. They go down to Miami to the stadium with the Hard Rock Stadium, and they play. FAM plays Bethune-Cookman in the Orange Blossom Classic. Think this now: 5 days later, they play the University of Miami in the same stadium. Those are the first 3 games. You got Albany State, Bethune-Cookman, and runner-up for the national championship in the first 3 games. So it's not like there's going to be a honeymoon period where they play the Sisters of the Poor and Joe Smith's nail salon school. They're playing 3 quality squads.
Wow.
And FAMU has Tennessee State back on the schedule.
For the first time in 40 years.
And TSU. And by the way, Tennessee State has a new president, Dwayne Tucker, who went to my high school, North Nashville High School, Nashville native, and with Dwayne now serving as the president of Tennessee State, Dwayne's from North Nashville. He knows when folks owe you money. He knows how to get his money.
Oh my gosh, Ricky, we're gonna go with this again, sir.
We know how to get our money in North Nashville. And you've been owing me $20 for the last 3 weeks. So Dwayne's gonna bring that attitude for the builders to the state. But here's what I think is gonna happen. I think Dwayne is gonna push to move Tennessee State out of the Ohio Valley Conference and into the SWAC or the MEAC. TSU will have 4 games this year against HBCU schools. That's the most they've had in quite a while. So don't be surprised if that move happens, because TSU football has totally lost its identity. Playing Lindenwood and Cawthon and some of these other schools nobody's ever heard of.
But
so
you want to do it after this year because you understand that the basketball team is pretty much the favorite to win the OVC.
Basketball
Which-
team's pretty good.
Yeah. So you're going to get that NCAA berth first before you decide to move on to something else, which would be really exciting to do.
But Tim, you know exactly. You haven't covered HBCU football. You got a very good idea how important those games are to the alumni.
Absolutely. I mean, why do you want to go? You want to go to a game and see somebody that you have some sort of affinity to. Alumni, especially, it's like
Right.
Tennessee State wants to see Jackson State. They want to see a fan. They
They're
want to see
playing Jackson State this year.
Yeah, they want to see a Howard. They want to see schools that they played when they were coming up, and you have those experiences from being at those games, going to those games, and the events surrounding those games. And there's nobody feeling Murray State, or nobody's feeling that at all.
No, not at all.
I
And they
think
show it.
A&T's probably playing Elon College or Elon
Yeah.
University for homecoming. And then I thought, people were like, well, why? And I think maybe they'll have more tickets to sell. Maybe they think more people from Elon won't come. I don't know. I've heard that.
Yeah,
That-
and that's it. That's the problem.
Mhm.
Yeah. One, they think they're gonna smoke Elon. Number one, they pick a pretty awful a weak opponent, but at the same time, Elon's not going to travel, and I guess they're going to bank on, it being that the homecoming being as incredible as it is. They're going to sell tickets irrespective of who they play.
Elon is right down the road, so I think they could travel. It's not that far,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
but they probably, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But it's a big
The homecoming is an event. Absolutely.
Yes.
The same with
And it's the greatest homecoming on earth. I just want to throw that in there. Go on.
well, I knew that was going to be shared. You got Alabama A&M, who's released their schedule, and I don't have any notes in here, but I know they're playing at least 6 classics this year. But the thing about it is, 3 of those classics are in Huntsville, Alabama. It's their home stadium, so I don't see where it can be so much of a classic if you're not leaving town. I know they play a game in Mobile. I think that we play one, and I think they're playing A&M plays Howard in the classic in Atlanta, the kickoff classic. I forget the name of the game that starts the season, HBCU season. So those count. Atlanta and Mobile count, but the other 3 at home and then 1 somewhere else.
I think they come to Nashville for the John Merritt Classic.
That's what it is. Okay,
They play
so
CSU.
that's 6 classics they got this year.
Yeah, but I tell you, man, as a TSU fan, I'm happy to see them adding HBCUs to the schedule, and I'm just waiting for Dwayne to make that move. Dwayne Tucker, president of Tennessee State. If you ever run into him, just call him Chubby.
Call him what?
That's his name.
Chubby O or Chubby?
Chubby.
Chubby.
Yeah.
I thought you said
I don't think
Chucky.
I will. No, I don't think I will. Who calls him
Yeah.
Chubby?
He'll know you. You do that, he'll know you from the hood. That's for sure. Whoa. Wait.
Oh, okay. What up, Chubb?
It's like what's the skit? I think it was Richard Pryor did it first, and Dave Chappelle. They're playing black presidents. The way
Yeah,
they shake white folks.
Oh,
The way they shake white folks' hands.
yeah, that was a Key and Peele.
Kid,
Phil, yeah. Like, what's
the
up,
way they
brother?
shake the brother's
Yeah,
hand.
like that. I'll keep that in mind.
Well, another HBCU piece of news is that you got a guy, Christian Parker, who was an assistant coach in the NFL, is now going to be the defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. And I think he coached at Virginia State and Norfolk State in HBCUs. So you got HBCU vet, now the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys, and we'll see how that turns out. It seems like the kid came out of nowhere, but he was with the Eagles staff last year.
That's huge, because the next step is what? A head coach, right?
The head coach. You would think.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there'll always be somebody up and coming, or they'll find a rationale to pick somebody else. Because I really want to know who all satisfied the Rooney Rule, who got legitimate looks Brian Flores signed a multi-year deal to go back to the Vikings, and everybody seemed to think that he was a shoo-in to get a shot for somebody. I think
don't know why
what is it
somebody
like?
hired him.
Vegas, Cleveland, Arizona still have openings, right?
And there have been no coaches of color hired, right?
No, mm-mm.
Yeah.
Unless you count Robert Saleh.
Sailor. And
But I don't know if
that's
that's so
But
much as a
another-
color as it is. He's a Muslim.
yeah. He's from here. He's Dearborn. Yeah.
Okay.
But other HBCU news, I want to give Savannah State alum a shout out. His name is Roy Ellison. He's been selected as an umpire on the officiating crew for the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
Congrats. Congrats.
Kudos.
Yeah.
Kudos.
Don't forget about Savannah State.
Absolutely.
No, we won't. We won't.
And non-players, he's a coach. I mean, an official. So that's pretty.
It counts. A couple of years ago, it was Jerome Boger, former football, baseball player at Morehouse, was the umpire for the Super Bowl. But everybody dogged him. They kept saying that he wasn't a very good official. And they always get that tag for people of color. You never see that for other officials who do stuff, especially in baseball. Because I know the name of a couple of guys that I would otherwise not know, but the announcers would not stop harping on. It was Angel Hernandez, and there was another guy that was up there that Eric Gregg back in the day.
Eric Gregg, yeah.
Yeah, they always dog those guys for being bad, but there are other folks who are just equally or probably just as bad who don't get the same rap. So our sins are always more egregious than others.
But you know what, man? We talk about we're going to have 10 openings in the NFL. 8 have been filled so far, with the possible exception of if you want to consider Sal or a person of color. 2 more openings. I want one day the NFL to become the NBA in terms of how. I can't tell you how many black coaches it is in the NBA.
Right.
The brothers get hired, fired, whatever. That's what I want to see in NFL one day.
Nobody bats an eye when it's the NBA.
No.
That kind of thing. And they don't do retreads either. They just they find new guys to come in there. I was watching an Orlando game the other night and saw a brother on the coach, and I'm like, who is he?
Right.
Right.
Who that is?
It was another team that played this bad. I think Cleveland, not Cleveland's coach, but there were some others. I'm like, okay, where did this guy come from? Because, but the people in the league who know who these guys are and who are the up and coming coaches. I think there's really respect for everybody, except for the guy at the Lakers. I don't know why people are always harping on the job that he's done.
JJ Redick.
Yeah, Redick.
But the NBA and its players, they have an outstanding working relationship. You look at number one, we just talked about the hiring, not only as coaches in the front offices of teams, ownership with teams, even recently with the situation in Minneapolis, the Players Association had a strong worded message, and that was backed up by the NBA as a whole with a strongly worded message in support of the protesters in the people protesting it in Minnesota. So I really give them props for what they've been able to do in regard to that. Now, if they can just get these guys to stop whining about every freaking foul ever committed, we might be on to something.
So I couldn't be an official because it's like on an obvious foul and the guy comes over there and shakes his head and, me? I'm like, oh, don't insult me. Don't insult my intelligence. The guy is bleeding. You did foul him.
And then you look at the replay, the guy's grabbing him by his neck, torn down, and he act like, hey, we got to get our friend Derek on.
Yeah.
I'll reach out
Derek
to him.
Stanford. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I have to get him one night and have a talk about it.
He does the
Tiger Woods golf thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, hey man, gosh, we didn't get a chance to talk much about it. 20 years since Kobe Bryant, his incredible 81 point game, 28 of 46 shots. And the funny thing, he had it with about 30 seconds left. I thought he was gonna put that bad boy up again, man. But they doubled him, and he kicked it out to his teammate. 81 point. And Trey, he's still 19 behind Will Chamberlain.
Right. We got 100 in the game, but it's like the game is special for in that it's the head coach for the Toronto Raptors was one Sam Mitchell, a friend of the show, and my high school teammate in football. And I would not let Sam ever forget that he was a coach on the other side of the bench when Kobe scored 81 on his team.
Mm.
Has Sam talked about that? I'm sure he has.
Oh yeah, he has, and and I've seen commercials with Kobe and Jalen Rose, where I think Kobe ordered some drink with 81 olives in it.
Wow.
And he stared at Jalen Rose at the time, and Jalen knew what was up because the smile left his face when he ordered the 81.
I will miss you, Kobe.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Hey, well, we got to get out of here, guys. For Tree McDougal, Tim Turner, I'm Rick Hampton. Good night, everybody.
All right. Be kind, everybody. See you next week.